Chapter 7, Growth-Oriented Targeting. Ensure your team is focused on the best new growth potentials. For all the money wasted on sales training, if just 1/10 of those resources were invested in refining the targets of the team, a multifold return would ensue. In over 25 years of facilitating sales strategy and sales innovation sessions, I found that the top two areas sales reps will identify as what they most need to improve are productivity and the quality of their targeting, the latter of which gets them far greater return on their investment. Most individual sales reps know what they could improve in the quality of prospects on whom they are calling, yet management and marketing are usually doing little to help them refine their target lists. No more. Quarterly review of your priority targets or prospects in many teams' vernacular is a strategically valuable investment for accelerated growth and especially in turnaround. In a turnaround effort, improving the quality of the prospects and customers on whom you focus can often be one of the highest return efforts that you can pursue. If you can take the 80-20 rule and apply it to existing customers, telling your sales and marketing team to only focus on the top 20% of customers, would it improve your results? That is an extreme example, but I have often seen that to be the wisest path for a turnaround. Firing the bottom 20, 50, maybe even 80% of the current prospect list and only focusing on the top priorities may have the most profitable of result. I don't know if these tactics would have the same benefit in your situation, but it proves the point on the leverage you can have in accelerating the growth of revenues and profits with this area of focus. Having your teams and sales producers create target lists with what they believe to be the most significant and likely growth potentials, along with the process of auditing those lists, can be a powerful agent to take focus away from farming old, worn-out accounts and markets, and instead focus on an increase of time invested with the much greater growth potentials. A common problem is trap line fishing, which is the sales rep's habit of calling on the older, more comfortable customers because they are the ones with whom the rep is most comfortable, not necessarily the ones most likely to deliver the most new business. I've seen in cases in which changing the commission structure to a more heavily weighted new customer focus as opposed to existing customers is the perfect lever for accelerating growth. Yet in other situations, mining existing customers for more of their potential dollar can be the more effective focus. This is just one of many areas you must discern in the process of targeting. Customer and market segmentation. It can be hard enough for your sales reps to look at their long list of prospective markets or customers and rank them in the most appropriate priority. Then, to be able to give the highest priority opportunities the appropriate time and attention without any prioritization tool or list is nearly impossible. Here is a simple method for customer and prospect prioritization that sales management and marketing leadership can use with their teams on a regular basis. This tool can create a prioritized target list with uncanny accuracy that will increase the focus within the business and the marketing and the sales efforts. It helps align resources and efforts for more effective marketing and selling efforts. Although there are far more sophisticated methodologies, algorithms, and software out there, this is meant to be more of a guerrilla marketing tool that you can quickly build and manage yourself. An initial step of segmenting your target prospects and top customer growth opportunities requires listing out what is important. For example, typical segmentation worksheets might include any combination of the following and more. Current or potential gross revenues from this customer or prospect. Current or potential gross profits. The estimated time it will take to sell this prospect. Percentage likelihood that you will get the business. Likelihood of keeping the business over X number of years. Spin-off, referral, or marquee value. After deciding what is important to measure, the next step is to create a scale in each area that can be easily estimated and has an appropriate balance with the other areas. You don't want one area of measure to unduly outweigh another area of measure. For example, One new customer that has a gross sales of 1 million with a profit potential of 50,000 must have the appropriate measure balance with another new customer that has the gross sales of 500,000 but profitability of 100,000. To kick off the simplest of segmentation exercises, one approach is to build a spreadsheet that lists some of the most important areas for measure. For our purpose of this exercise, we will use revenue, profit, and percent likelihood of getting the sale. Make a list of prospects and put these 3 columns next to each one. In order to quantify things like gross revenues and percent likelihood of winning business, you must create a scale. In the following example, we will use a 1 to 10 scale for each column with these formulas. 1 point for each $50,000 of gross revenue, 1 point for each $5,000 of profits, and 1 point for every 10% in our estimate of percent likelihood of winning the business. So if we have a 50-50 chance of winning this business, it will get a 5. If it's a done deal, because it's our big brother, it may get a 9. Make your estimates, fill in the chart, and then add up your numbers in a total value or priority column. Upon further analysis, after sorting that column, you may realize that gross revenues are not nearly as high a priority, unless you may experiment with lowering the 1 to 10 scale by only giving 1 point for every 100,000 of gross revenues. Play with the scales until you know that your prioritized list is pretty much on target. We recommend starting by segmenting existing customers so that you'll have a history of real numbers and not just estimates. And you'll likely be able to find untapped sales potential as well. Afterward, do a similar effort with prospects. The bottom line is, once you have segmentation worksheets created, you'll find a much more focused, prioritized, and profitable direction for selling and marketing efforts. I have seen this one simple tool increase revenues and profits by 7, 8, and 9 figures. If you are not facilitating customer segmentation, you must begin it immediately. Knowing who your ideal customers are. We use the customer segmentation tool to focus on prospective new business, but a similar exercise must be done with existing customers. It is best to start all segmentation efforts by determining who are your best and most profitable customers currently. Most companies do a poor job of prioritizing their most profitable customers. As a result, they do an even poorer job of prioritizing their prospective customers, and thus are losing growth potential. Can your management, marketing, sales, and service teams clarify the priority of your customers? If not, why? The root of this problem goes back to the poor communication between these various facets of the business. Those who may know the profitability of a customer or the profit-draining issues with certain types of customers are often not communicating that valuable information to the other areas. As much as possible, management must define what makes a profitable customer. There are as many variances of cost as there are businesses, but you can start with the financial information on the books with regard to profit margin percentages, total profits per customer, and customer types. Your challenge is to uncover the soft costs that may be also affecting the profits and merge and balance this information with harder financial information. Conduct interviews and hold meetings with key representatives from sales, service, and any other area that might have relevant information about the soft costs behind specific customers and types. Ask your team who they believe are your most profitable and least profitable customers, customer types, and why. For example, a certain type of larger customer that is paying higher margins than average may be thought of as the highest priority type of customer. But in reality, your service reps may be spending more unpaid time with those customers per unit installed than any other customer type. Thus, what you thought was one of your best customers may only be marginally profitable or even unprofitable. From the information you have garnered, create a customer segmentation worksheet for existing customers based on the true net profitability, considering the hard and soft cost of your various customers. Typically, this soft information isn't secret, but it is rarely gathered and discussed on a regular basis. Even rarer is having it worked into some sort of customer segmentation tool that is shared throughout the team to make clear just who are your best and most profitable customers. The benefits of this exercise are that your best customers will be retained longer. Your worst customers can pay the price increases needed or be fired with enthusiasm, or even strategically handed over to your competition. And your marketing and sales efforts will be more adroitly aimed at the highest profit customer types. Leveraging the targeting process to increase sales and effectiveness with the 320s tactic. Management, marketing, and sales producers should have what I call the 320s at their side at all times. The top 20 prospects, the top 20 customers, the top 20 advocates. In some situations, the number may be much higher or lower, but the point is that each list has a lot of opportunity in it that is usually ripe for mining. The tactic is simple. Have individuals, units in your company as a whole create a top 20 list of customers, advocates, and prospects. The benefits of having these lists in front of each group are as follows. Top customers will be better serviced and cross-sold for additional business. They will be better mined for testimonials and referrals and connections that will lead to additional business. Top advocates will be met with or at least talked with on a regular basis. To be an advocate, they must be a connector to new business and a supporter or a champion, an advocate of your company. In many cases, we have had sales teams set the objective of meeting with a minimum of 8 advocates per month for the sake of asking for connections to new business. And we've charted the results and found that these sales calls or connecting calls are more productive and profitable than any other type of prospecting and selling calls, as the selling cycle on these connections is usually much shorter. Top prospect lists have several uses and benefits. For one thing, they keep your sales reps focused on the top new customer opportunities. Also, these lists can be used in the most effective referral gathering strategy that we have found, and it's called the Echeloned Targets Referral Strategy. The strategy is to have every sales rep carry with him or her copies of the top 20 prospects, or potentially as many as 60, on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and set the objective of showing it to a minimum number of people each week or month. The paper can contain a long list of specific company names or perhaps even a short list of some notable people in the target industry, and then a few bullets of your ideal prospect types or profile points. Then the goal is for the sales rep to pull out the list at the appropriate time during a meeting and simply ask, "Hey, do you know or have any familiarity with anyone on this list?" Then he or she would just listen and check off the names that they mention, note any relevant comments, and move on. The sales rep then has the ability to reference this connection during initial calls to those prospects. Having a connection in a prospecting effort has been proven to greatly increase the chance of progress on a sale. Of course, one of the first places to take this list is to the 20 advocates and perhaps even the 20 customers on the other top 20 lists. This is a far superior strategy to just asking for referrals, and it is something that management and marketing may be able to help sales walk through to success. How to foster balance between short-term and long-term business. Many companies and individual sales producers get caught at one time or another with not enough business closing in the short term or not enough business lined up for the long term. Business not set to close in 90 days or more is commonly long term, and 90 days or fewer is short term for many companies. Here is a simple process and tool that will help to balance the focus of sales and marketing teams as well as empower management to better coach and provide support for sales producers. Create a simple spreadsheet with the appropriate room and slots to capture the top accounts most likely to close in the next 90 days, and perhaps even include a space for target date. Likewise, include a parallel list for accounts that are actively being marketed, met with, sold, courted, and so on, but aren't expected to close for more than 90 days out. Once sales reps create these two lists, it usually becomes apparent that there is a shortage on either the long-term or short-term pipeline. This is an important but often overlooked area for sales managers. One of the most important questions for sales managers to ask comes after sales reps tell you what date an account is expected to close. Simply ask, why do you think that's when you're going to be able to close this account? And the quality of the answer you hear will indicate the quality of the selling process and awareness of that account. This tool also helps sales and marketing to better align efforts with each other, thus increasing closing ratios and even sales call productivity. Keeping the pipeline properly balanced can mean the difference between solvency and bankruptcy.